Level 1, $30,000. It's the last Tuesday of the month, and you're standing in the cereal aisle with your phone open, subtracting the box in your hand from the number on the screen. The number is $61. The box is $6. You do the subtraction anyway, because at $30,000, the subtraction never stops. And then you put the box back on the shelf. Not because you can't afford it, because affording it means something else doesn't happen this week. And you've learned to see the whole week at once, laid out like a row of dominoes, each one leaning on the last. After taxes, about $2,100 lands in your account each month. Rent takes $900 of it, and you're not renting alone. You share a bathroom with someone whose shower you can time, because the hot water gives out at the 11-minute mark, and you've built your morning around the difference. Car insurance is $180, priced for a mistake you haven't made yet, on a road you haven't driven yet, already charged to you in advance. Groceries are $200 if the week is calm, and $280 if it isn't. By the end of the month, you have somewhere between nothing and $200, and you move it to savings. And then a tire goes flat, and you move it back. You get a raise, 4%. It arrives as $47 a month, and you feel it for 1 week before the electric company raises its rate and the feeling is gone. Nobody at this level talks about money because everyone is making the same money and has agreed, silently, not to say the number out loud. So you celebrate alone. The first time your checking account holds 4 figures for 3 days straight, you screenshot it and send it to no one. And you open the photo 7 times before dinner. At $30,000, the world isn't trying to sink you. It's trying to keep you exactly here. Useful enough to show up, stretched thin enough to never build the leverage to leave. Level 2, $45,000. You got here by switching jobs, because staying rarely pays what leaving does. And the math moves, though not as far as you hoped. Take home is now about $3,000 a month. The extra $600 should be freedom, and for 1 month it is. And then you move out of the apartment your landlord called character and into one that costs $300 more. And you buy the desk chair that stops your back from aching. And you add the 3rd streaming service. By the time your life finishes rising to meet the raise, you have roughly what you had before. The gap didn't close. It just moved up a floor and kept the same width. This is your first lesson in the quiet arithmetic that governs everything above you, though nobody has given it a name yet. You open a retirement account because someone told you to, and you put in $50 a month, and by December, it says $640. And for the first time, you feel the faint, strange sensation of money doing something on its own while you sleep. It is a small number, but it is the first number in your life that grew without you standing over it. Level 3, $60,000. This is the salary that feels like a rival. You've said it out loud to a friend and watched something flicker across their face that you couldn't name. You have your own bathroom now. You have a savings balance with real digits in it. 4 of them, sometimes 5 after a careful quarter. You contribute enough to the 401k to catch the match, because leaving free money was framed to you as a kind of failure, and the framing worked. And yet, one evening you open a compound interest calculator, and you type in your balance and your contribution, and you push it 40 years forward. And the number that comes back is fine. It is technically precisely fine. It is enough to stop working someday, if stopping work is all you ask of the second half of your life. You close the calculator. 3 days later, you open it again, and it gives you the same answer. And you understand that this is the moment. $60,000 stops being a finish line and becomes a ceiling you can touch with your hand. Managing and building look identical from the outside. From the inside, only one of them ends anywhere. Level 4, $80,000. Take home clears $5,000 most months now, and the shift you feel isn't loud. It's the disappearance of a sound. The math in the cereal aisle has stopped. You order at a restaurant without pricing the meal against the rest of the week. You have 3 months of expenses sitting in a high-yield account, earning more than your first raise ever did. And you are no longer living paycheck to paycheck. You are living paycheck to investment account, which is a different thing wearing the same clothes. You start seeing the people around you more clearly, the ones earning what you earn who somehow have less. And you understand now that they upgraded their lives the same week the raise arrived. New car, new lease, new version of themselves that costs exactly $80,000 to keep running. You've felt the pull of that yourself with every smaller raise, and you've decided quietly to stop obeying it. You keep the car. You let the space between what you earn and what you spend widen instead of close. Because you finally worked out that the space is the only part of the salary that's actually yours. Everything else is just passing through on its way to someone else. The friends who rose to meet the number are, on paper, doing exactly as well as you. On paper. The statement that arrives in 20 years will disagree, quietly, in a figure with too many digits to argue with. Level 5, $100,000. 6 figures. The number you once imagined as an ending, and it arrives quieter than anything before it. Take home is around $6,000 a month after the accounts you now fill without noticing. You track your net worth. The line moves upward, mostly. And this is where the trap lives, and you are standing in it, and you may not feel the floor yet. The trap is that $100,000 is precisely enough to feel wealthy without being wealthy. You bought the car, you took the trip, you started eating where the check arrives, and you tap the card without turning it over. No single one of these is a mistake, but together they press the gap back down towards something that feels like managing again, just at a more flattering altitude. Lifestyle inflation never knocks. It lets itself in, one reasonable evening at a time, and you notice it only later, from the shape of what you failed to save. A person earning $100,000 and spending $96,000 is building exactly what a person earning $45,000 and spending $41,000 is building. The math cannot tell them apart. Only the cars in the driveway can. Level 6, $130,000. This is the first level where money itself starts behaving differently, not just your balance. Take home is around $7,000 a month after you max the 401k. Your brokerage account has crossed $100,000, and in a decent market year, it earns $9,000 or $12,000 while you do nothing at all, which is a full extra month of pay appearing out of capital instead of hours. You feel the tilt, not dramatically, just the sense that the arithmetic, which spent years running against you, has quietly turned to run alongside you. You stop opening your accounts from fear and start opening them from curiosity. Every month you add to the base, and the base earns, and the earnings earn, and the compounding you understood as a sentence at $60,000, you now understand as a physical event, because you can watch it happen. Taxes become personal here too, not political, but arithmetic. Your marginal rate has reached 24%, and you begin to see why the accounts labeled tax-advantaged were built the way they were. Because at this income, the difference between one strategy and another is no longer theory. It's a number with a comma in it. You learn what a fraction of a percent in fees costs you across 2 decades, and the answer is a used car. You learn the difference between the account that taxes you now and the one that taxes you later. And for the first time in your life, the difference is large enough to feel in your hands. Level 7, $160,000. You are now inside the top slice of individual earners in the country, and it feels like almost nothing you pictured. Take home, after everything, sits near $8,500 a month. From the outside, nothing separates you from your $130,000 self. Same car, same street, a slightly better vacation, A little more given away because giving finally started to matter and the deductions started to count. But your brokerage account has passed $200,000, and your retirement account is chasing it, and you are somewhere in your late 30s watching a ladder where a ceiling used to be. The frustration here is specific. You are building wealth, but you are not wealthy, and the two words refuse to become the same word on your schedule. You have peers who bought a house at the right moment and watched it gain $300,000 in their sleep. You have peers who joined something early and now hold a number they can't say at dinner. You are doing it correctly, slowly, by hand, and the outcome will be real, and it will arrive in 15 years. And 15 years is an abstraction your Saturday morning brain keeps trying to fold into next month. You hold the course anyway, because the course is right, even when right and fast refuse to be the same direction. Level 8. $200,000. The conversations around you change, not because you announced the number, you learned long ago not to, but because your decisions became legible to anyone watching. The address, the school district, the trip that wasn't a budget trip. Your parents start asking about your job in a way that is really a question about whether you now out-earn their best year. And in some cases, you do. And the silence after the answer has a particular texture you won't forget. Your federal marginal rate is 24%, and once your state and the extra Medicare surtax stack on the last dollars, you keep closer to 65 cents of each one above the top threshold. Take home, after you filled every account and structured what can be structured, runs near $10,000 a month. It is a large number. It is also the number that shows you, without any remaining ambiguity, that income and wealth were never the same thing. You know people at $200,000 with less to their name than people at $90,000 who started earlier and simply refused to stop. You know people at this level who are one soft year away from trouble because the lifestyle rose to meet the income and then kept rising on credit, and the income made the credit easy. And the easy credit made the rising feel free. But you can feel it now, the first real version of the thing all the numbers were secretly buying. Optionality. The ability to say no to a job you don't want. The ability to take a year and figure something out without it becoming a catastrophe. You haven't used it yet, you may never, but you know it's there, and knowing it's there changes how you stand in a room, how you listen in a meeting, how long you're willing to wait. You test it once, quietly. You turn down something that would have paid well and taken the year, and the ground doesn't open, and the accounts barely register the loss. And that non-event teaches you more about where you actually stand than any line on a statement ever has. You understand, finally, what nobody could have told you in the cereal aisle, though somebody probably tried. The number was never the destination. The number was raw material. And the only thing that ever mattered was the gap between what came in and what went out. And the years you let that gap sit untouched and compounding. The person who understood this at $45,000 and built quietly is sitting near you right now with a net worth not far from yours. And they got there on a salary you'd call modest. The math never cared about the salary. It cared about the gap and the time. Somewhere tonight, someone is standing in the cereal aisle with a phone open, subtracting a $6 box from a number that won't stretch and putting it back on the shelf. They don't know yet that the box was never the point. They will spend years believing a bigger number is the answer, and the number will get bigger, and the aisle will follow them upward, aisle after aisle, until one day they stop subtracting the box and start measuring the gap instead. That day is the only raise that ever changes anything. It was never printed on an offer letter. It was always the one they had to give themselves.